Have you ever wondered how many screams go unheard behind closed doors? How many children endure pain in silence while the world walks past their window? This is the story of Lily, a girl who trusted the wrong man, a girl whose childhood was stolen behind a locked wooden door that no one was supposed to open. Lily was only 14 when her father, Mr. Daniel, decided she deserved something he never had the chance to enjoy, a proper education. Her older brother was already in school, but the fees were becoming too heavy, so her father agreed when his younger brother, Uncle Felix, offered to take Lily to the city so she could study. He believed he was giving her a better life, not knowing he was handing her to danger. The day Lily arrived at her uncle's compound, she felt a strange silence, a heavy loneliness that didn't feel normal. But she ignored it because she wanted to make her father proud. That very night, everything changed. Uncle Felix took her phone, locked her inside the small room, and told her she didn't need distractions. Hours later, the lock turned again, and her nightmare began. Days passed. Weeks passed. There was no school, no friends, no phone. Instead, Lily lived in a dark room with a single window and no bed. She slept on the cold floor. She ate only when he allowed it. And every time he approached the door, fear swallowed her whole. She tried to escape, but the lock was too strong. She screamed sometimes, but her voice never reached the outside world. One afternoon, two teenagers walking past the house saw her through the small window. Her eyes were swollen, her face frightened. She begged with her lips, "Help me." They were shocked and tried to approach the house, but Uncle Felix appeared, threatening them with a harsh voice. Terrified, the boys ran and never returned. Lily's hope faded again. Then came the Saturday that changed everything. 3 young men, Tega, Michael, and Sam, were returning from a football match when Michael suddenly stopped and stared at the window. Lily was there again, her face weak, her body tired. They stepped closer and whispered, "Are you okay?" And for the first time in a long time, Lily found the courage to speak. She told them everything: how she came to the house, how her uncle locked her inside, how he took her phone, how she was suffering alone in that room. The boys were silent for a moment, anger burning in their chests. Sam finally spoke softly. "We won't leave you here, we promise." They meant it. That evening, they confronted Uncle Felix. He yelled, threatened them, and tried to scare them away, but they refused to back down. Lily had given them her father's number, and they used it. They called Mr. Daniel and told him everything, every truth, every pain, every hidden detail. Mr. Daniel's voice broke on the phone, but he didn't deny anything. He only begged, "Please help me save my child." The boys told him to come the next day and to come with police officers. He agreed without hesitation. The next morning felt longer than any other day Lily had spent in that small room. She didn't know what the boys had done after they left, and she didn't know they had called her father. She only sat on the cold floor, hugging her knees, praying silently that something, anything, would change. Outside the house, the air was tense. The 3 boys were already awake, watching the road from their compound, waiting for Lily's father to arrive. They barely slept. The anger in their minds kept them awake, and the thought of Lily locked up again pushed them forward. They wanted justice. They wanted her free. Mr. Daniel arrived before noon. His face was pale, his hands shaking. Behind him were 2 police officers dressed in their uniforms, serious and alert. He had traveled through the night with fear in his chest and guilt tearing through his heart. He never imagined the brother he trusted could cause such pain. The boys rushed to him immediately. They greeted him respectfully and quickly pointed him to the house. "Sir, this is the place," Sam said.
Try not to let his voice break. Your daughter is inside there. Please be strong. Mr. Daniel nodded slowly, his hands trembling even more. But he didn't want to cry yet. He needed to see his daughter with his own eyes. They walked toward the house together. The police followed, scanning their surroundings. The compound was too quiet, too still. When they reached the gate, the boys knocked. No answer. They knocked again, louder. Still nothing. Finally, one of the officers tried the handle. It opened. Inside, Uncle Felix stood in the living room, pretending to be calm. His smile was thin, shaky. "Ah, brother," he said quickly, as though he had been expecting them. "This visit is a surprise. What's going on?" Mr. Daniel didn't return the smile. His voice was cold. "Where is my daughter?" Uncle Felix blinked twice, then forced a laugh. "Ah, she went to visit a friend. It's Saturday. She didn't go to school today." The officers exchanged glances. The boys stepped forward immediately, their voices firm. Michael pointed toward the hallway. "She's not with any friend. She's in that room. We saw her, and she told us everything." Uncle Felix's face changed instantly. The fear and anger hiding behind his false smile slipped out. "Don't you dare accuse me in my house," he snapped. "If you know what's good for you, you better leave." But the boys didn't move. They stood their ground. Mr. Daniel's voice rose, sharper this time. "Felix, open that door now." His brother tried to walk away, pretending not to hear. "I said she's not here. Why don't you people believe me?" The police officer stepped forward, blocking his path. "Sir, step aside." Uncle Felix suddenly became bold again, shouting, "You cannot break into my room. This is illegal." But his voice cracked, his hands shook, and the guilt was already showing. The boys didn't wait. They walked straight down the hallway. The police and Mr. Daniel followed. The closer they got to the door, the heavier the air felt. It was locked from outside. A thick padlock hung on it. The officers didn't ask any more questions. One of them kicked the lock. The metal snapped. The door swung open, and the smell hit them first. Urine, sweat, trapped air. Then their eyes adjusted to the dim room, and they saw Lily. She was lying on the cold floor, weak, shaking, her clothes dirty, her hair tangled. There was no bed, no chair. Nothing except a bucket and a torn blanket. Her face lifted slowly when they entered, but she didn't even have the strength to stand. Mr. Daniel fell to his knees instantly. "Lily," he whispered, his voice breaking into pieces. Streams of tears streamed from his eyes as he gathered her gently. She didn't speak first. She just leaned against him, her small body trembling. All she managed to whisper was, "Daddy, you came." The officers didn't waste time. They grabbed Uncle Felix immediately. He tried to fight, tried to shout, but the entire street heard him scream as the handcuffs locked around his wrists. The truth was no longer hiding in shadows. Lily was carried out of the room, wrapped in a cloth the boys brought. The entire neighborhood watched in silence as the police led the uncle away. Shame followed him like a shadow. Lily was finally outside, finally breathing fresh air again, but the journey ahead was still long.
The compound was silent as Lily was carried outside. Neighbors who once walked past the house without noticing anything now stood with wide eyes, whispering among themselves. Some covered their mouths, some shook their heads, others wiped away tears they didn't expect. No one had imagined that such darkness was hiding behind a neighbor's closed door. Mr. Daniel held Lily tightly, refusing to let go. His heart felt heavy with guilt. Every step he took away from the house felt like he was walking away from a mistake he would never forgive himself for. "I'm so sorry," he kept whispering, even though Lily was too weak to reply. Her small hands clung to his shirt as if afraid he might disappear again. The boys walked beside them, their hearts still burning with anger,
but softer now as they watched Lily breathe fresh air. Sam looked at her and shook his head slowly. "No girl deserves this," he muttered under his breath. Tega's fist stayed clenched, and Michael kept glancing back at the house as if still expecting more secrets to crawl out of its walls. The police car was waiting outside the gate. Uncle Felix was already inside, shouting at the officers, insisting he was innocent, claiming that everyone was lying. But no one listened. The truth was too loud, too clear, too painful. When Lily was placed gently into the back seat of another car, she blinked slowly, still confused, still trying to understand if this was real. Then she saw the three boys standing outside the window, watching her. Their faces were calm now, softer, filled with something she hadn't seen in a long time: hope. She whispered, her voice barely rising, "Thank you." The boys nodded, all three of them, and Sam answered quietly, "You're safe now." They watched as the car drove away with Lily and her father, and for the first time since they met her, she didn't look afraid. The police officers took Uncle Felix to the station. The neighborhood knew they would never see him walk freely again. The weight of his crime was too heavy, too dark, too unforgivable. His name became something people refused to say. But for Lily, the world was beginning to open again. Later that evening, when she was placed in a proper bed at a small clinic, she looked around the room slowly. The clean walls, the soft pillow, the warm blankets. It felt unreal, like a place she once imagined but never thought she would touch again. Her father sat beside her, refusing to leave her side. His eyes were red, but his hand stayed gently on her arm. "Daddy, will I go back to school?" she asked softly. Mr. Daniel leaned closer, brushing her hair away from her face. "Yes," he whispered. "You'll go back, and this time, you'll be safe. I promise." His voice cracked slightly, but he meant every word. Outside the clinic, the three boys waited to hear how she was doing. When Mr. Daniel stepped out and told them she would recover, they breathed out slowly. Their hearts felt lighter. They didn't know Lily before that day, but they knew the world had tried to break her, and they had shown up just in time. "She's strong," Michael said. "And she'll be okay," Tega added. Sam looked toward the street, his voice steady. "At least, she's free." That night, Lily slept without fear for the first time in months. No footsteps, no locked doors, no darkness waiting to hurt her. Only peace, soft and gentle. Her life would not be the same again, but she has survived. She had been seen. She had been saved. And the room that once silenced her voice would no longer hold anyone prisoner again. The world had finally opened its window and listened. If you like this story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, comment, and turn on your notification for interesting and amazing stories like this. Thanks for watching. See you on my next one.